Ladies and gentlemen, Vince here, going to be diving into a few new reward apps today, plus discussing and even opening up a few packs of Pokemon cards. I know it sounds a bit crazy, but I'll explain why in a few minutes. I hope you all enjoy. First up, we have an app called Basketball Stars. And this is what it looks like when you first launch it up. Top of the screen, you have your coin-based currency, your timer, and supposed PayPal currency. Now underneath that, you have the basketball hoop, an auto button which the game plays for you if you watch an ad, and of course at the bottom of the screen you have your basketballs, and you also have goals to reach. All you literally need to do is flick the basketballs into the hoop, okay? Now, is this a fun little game? I guess so, but really, is it worth the time and effort? What ends up happening, guys, is that ads automatically play every single 30 seconds, and it completely derails the application in my opinion and ruins the experience. Like you just saw then as I was talking, an advertisement played and completely interrupted the game. So you can expect that all the time. Now once that ad's finished, you do have the choice to claim a reward if you watch another ad. But even if you don't press anything, it's going to play an ad either way, which I've seen some ad heavy apps, but this probably takes the cake at this point. I mean, in theory, that's what these apps are all about, just the advertisements, and the games are like fillers in my opinion. But let me just break down how my testing actually went, because I'm not going to waste your time. So I started my test off with 1,500 coins in the balance, with 3 hours on the timer, and of course 0 supposed PayPal currency. I played for almost 40 minutes straight and generated 27,434 of the coins. And that converted into 7 cents worth of USD currency once that timer ran out. Interesting enough, they do have like a little extra reward area here with various tasks and different goals to try and hit through these tasks. Whether or not you actually want to waste time with that, that's completely up to you. I am happy to say though, everyone, I did withdraw the 7 cents worth of USD, and yes, it did hit my PayPal account in my own experience straight away, at least here in Australia. But just because that can happen, that doesn't mean it's worth the time, everyone. In fact, I'm severely disappointed in how many advertisements spam you on this one. Like, you can't even actually play the game at this point. So look, that's my review of Basketball Stars. Good potential, but way too ad heavy. Again, ads aren't necessarily a bad thing, but the problem is it takes over your phone, of course, so you can't actually use it while the ads are playing. So it almost turns into like an idle app of sorts, everyone, which I do find pretty funny, to be fair. Either way, let's move on to the next app. As always, everyone, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help support the channel. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Toon Drama. So lately I've been covering a whole bunch of these like watch videos to get rewards type of applications, and Toon Drama promises that you can watch toons in return for rewards, everyone. So I thought, you know what, let's put it to the test. This is what it looks like, by the way. At the top of the screen, you have your bill currency, your goal, and your timer, plus of course the supposed PayPal currency. Now underneath that, we have our actual toon shows and dramas that we can watch, and you'll notice that they actually do say that you can get a certain amount of currency, but I personally do not believe these numbers at all, so I'm not even going to bother repeating them. Now, to be fair, I do like that there's quite a bit of variety, but again, these dramas are pretty questionable and quite strange in my opinion, at least the real life ones. Now, there is a floating bubble you can tap on, and that's of course going to play an advertisement in return for those bills. Now, actually tapping on one of these shows is of course going to play the clip. As I said, it kind of reminds me of TikTok or, YouTube Shorts. You guys have probably seen this kind of setup before. Now, on the right side of the screen, we do have that little floating currency that has a timer. You see, the more you watch the clips, the more of that bill currency that you can generate. Funny enough, there is like a full episode list to a majority of these dramas, everyone. So I have to say, credit where credit is due there. Again, I have no idea what the show is, okay? These are just random videos spliced together in my opinion, or as I said, AI potentially. I don't know. I just don't see these being mainstream dramas by any means. But as you can see, as I'm talking, you can get another little ad prompt there to get more of the bills. So as you're watching these clips, these little prompts will appear. Now, after watching some of those clips, you can see that there's the claim button that has appeared there. Actually tapping on that is going to take you to the currency area. We actually do have various activities we can perform on this little reward area, guys. So not too bad at all. Again, all about watching the advertisements. Very, very straightforward. By now, if you're a fan of this channel, you've probably seen many of this style of apps, okay? So let me just break down how my experience actually went. I started my test off with 3,051 of the goal completed with 2 hours and 55 minutes left. I then watched 1 hour or so of these dramas and generated up to 50,064 of the in-app currency to complete the goal. Once that timer ran out, that converted into 10 cents worth of USD currency, at least in my experience. I am very happy to say that yes, I did withdraw that 10 cents and it did arrive straight away to my PayPal account, at least here in Australia, and again, within my experience here, guys. Okay, so very nice to see all in all. So is this really worth the time and effort? I mean, realistically, no, not here in Australia. Again, you do whatever you want in your own country. This is just my own review of it. Now, imagine if this had like Just Play's kind of pay table. That would be fantastic, but just not the case today. Either way, let's move on. So this part of the video is going to be fun, everyone. I'm going to be opening up Pokemon cards to see what kind of value they're going to give me. Remember, Pokemon cards cost money. And the whole goal is to build a collection either to keep for a very long time or to eventually sell it off. So opening up the cards on camera is something I figured would be perfect for this channel, as, you know, technically we are talking about little side hobbies and different ways people actually make some sort of revenue online, whether it be selling on eBay, selling on Facebook Marketplace. If you notice towards the bottom of the screen, I'm obviously flashing up the current market value for the card that I have in my hand at the time. Top left corner of the screen, we have the cost of both the packs in total. Top right corner of the screen, we have the overall value. These prices are all set by various websites, but the one I'm using is called price charting, which I think a majority of collectors actually base their prices on. Now, to be fair, I am new to all of this, so I'm sure maybe I'll try out some other platforms as well for different prices. But realistically, checking eBay is a good way to actually figure out what the real-time value of your card is, because these prices are always changing on these cards, everyone. In fact, it's actually amazing how in-depth this Pokemon situation goes. There is so much money being tossed around out there for these trading cards. Now, whether or not this is going to be on every single video, I'm not too sure. I'm just trying to see what you all think. I mean, I actually really enjoy doing this because it's something different other than just surveys and applications. Plus, you guys get to see firsthand what it's all about, okay? I mean, me learning is kind of you guys learning as well. Now, if you're curious to what exactly I've actually purchased here, they're called booster packs, everyone. And this booster pack is for the Mega Evolution Perfect Order set, okay? So every couple of months, I think Pokemon does release new sets. So keep that in mind. What you're seeing right now will not be the same in 3 months if I'm opening up a pack. What people do as well is literally buy these packs just to chase certain cards, whether it be to send off for grading to massively increase the value of the card, because yes, there is a whole rating scale to be professionally graded. That is a whole nother section I'm not even going to bother talking about today, because this is more of just an introduction to what I want to do sometimes on the channel, just to spice things up a little bit. In fact, next time I may even put up on the screen what the professionally graded version of the card is going for, because you'll be amazed at some of the prices on these PSA 10 rated cards. And for those who don't know what PSA is, it's a grading company. So in total, we spent $17 to get a value of $29.67 of current market value. There you go. Now, the next application is called Focus Cash Grow, and this is what it looks like when you launch it up. Top of the screen, we have our currency, our timer, and of course, our goal. Underneath that, we have some little water droplets. Tapping on that is going to go towards growing our tree, and actually tapping on the tree will generate the in-game currency. A very straightforward concept here, everyone, with ultimately the goal, at least in my opinion, to be watching advertisements. Now, to be fair, there is a little idle aspect here where you can see that there's a little timer going down, but before I could do anything else, obviously an ad prompt just appeared. So this is how they get you, everyone. They have the original base rate there, but then you can watch an advertisement to ×3 it. And even if you don't want to watch the ad, it's going to play it anyway. So again, kind of annoying. But then you can see there's more little water droplets floating around the tree. Now, there are some little mini games as well. Again, exact same concept. You guys understand how these little mini games work. All trying to get you to watch those ads, okay? Very straightforward. It also has the task-based system as well, everyone, where you can go through and manually watch advertisements or complete little tasks. And realistically, that is all there is to the application. Let me just break down how my test went for you all. I started my first test off with 3 hours left on the timer. I played for around an hour straight and generated 69,000 of the in-game currency. And that only finally converted into 4 cents worth of USD. Now I started another test with 2 hours and 30 minutes on the timer, played for roughly 40 minutes or so, and generated another 43,000 of the in-game currency. And once that timer ran out, I was left with 11 cents in total, everyone. Look, everyone, I am happy to say I did withdraw the 11 cents worth of USD, and yes, it did arrive to my PayPal account, at least in my experience here in Australia. But for that amount of time needed, you just could be doing so much more with the time that you have, okay? Again, you can do whatever you want with this information. It's always up to you. I'm just a reviewer after all. But hopefully I helped someone out there. Check out my channel for almost 1,000 reviews. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.